Good afternoon. The second language acquisition from a practical classroom perspective. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Voice in Education. Today, we are going to talk about second language acquisition back from a classroom point of view. Usually, this top is example with a lot of the theories, but when you actually see in class, it feels very different. So let me start with a simple question. When people hear second language acquisition, what do they usually imagine? Do they think it is sometimes very organized and predator?
Well, in theory, it sounds very organized. Many books explain language learning as a step-by-step process. But in real classroom, it is not always like that. Sometimes students improve quickly and sometimes progress is slow. And many times you do not see big change from one class to another.
Yes, that is true. Another important thing people mention a lot of is interaction. Many research say the interaction is very important for learning a language. But that makes me think about something. If interaction is so important, do we really use it enough in everyday?
That is a great question, and it leads to another of life interaction is important. How can teacher actually create in the class?
Real interaction does not just happen because the teacher has to plan activities that make a student talk. For example, if a student only to grant exercise individual they do not really communicate with the other.
Exactly. But when teachers give group activities, students start interacting naturally. They ask questions, they correct each other, and they compare ideas. In that way, learning becomes more active and more connected to real communication.
So even those small conversions between students can help their language improve over time.
Yes, definitely. Sometimes students realize they are missing a word or using the wrong structure. When that happens, they try to fix it immediately. Little by little, those small corrections helping improve a lot.
No, let's just start about confidence even. When teacher create opportunities to interest in a student participation in the same world, what difference do we usually see in university classrooms?
While confidence levels are very different, some students talk a lot from the beginning, but others stay quiet even when they understand the topic.
Is the understand why do you think they hesitate to speak?
One big reason is the fear of making mistakes. When students think mistakes are something negative, they prefer to say silent. But when teachers show that mistakes are part of learning, students feel more comfort speaking.
That makes sense. So feedback from the teacher must be very important.
Yes, exactly. When the teacher covers the student in the responsible ways, the student do not feel embarrassed. They understand that corrections are there to help them improve.
And when students feel safe in the classroom, they participate more. They try to communicate more often and the conversation become more natural.
Another important factor is motivation. Let me ask sometimes do grades really motivate a student to learn a language?
Grades can motivate students for a short time, but they are not always enough. Usually, students stay motivated when learning the language helps them reach a personal goal.
Can you give an example?
Sure. For example, students who want to study abroad often feel very motivated in language class. They know they will need the languages in real life, so they put more effort into learning it.
The same happen with the student who want the better job opportunity when they see that English can help their future career. They take a system more seriously.
So basically, when students see a real purpose for learning a language, they stay more engaged.
Exactly. When the goal is meaningful, motivation becomes stronger.
Note, let you start a little more about peer interaction, how those working with classmates help language learning.
It helps a lot when students work in groups. They actually use the language instead of just listening. They explain ideas, ask a question, and sometimes help each other correct mistakes.
Can you give a simple example?
Sure. For example, a student might say something like, I have 20 years. Another student might say, on you mean you are 20 years old. That small correction helps the student learn the correct structure.
Also, students usually feel more comfortable speaking in small groups before speaking in front of the whole class.
So grow word does not only hurt learning but also raise press.
Yes, exactly. Speaking in front of everyone can make a student nervous, but a small group feels safer.
Let us move on the material house code. Teacher should teach us and learning materials.
A teacher usually tries to show material that are not too easy but also not too difficult. If the material is too simple, students do not learn anything else.
But it is slightly more challenging. Students start thinking more interested to understand new structures.
What about vocabulary? Is it better to learn words in context?
Yes, definitely when the student seniors words exercise at this is the easier to understand the meaning. For example, if a student read about the environment, it uses the made see words like the renewables records when the even if they do I know the work, I freeze the context, helps they understand it.
That way, students do not just memorize definition. They actually understand how the word is used.
We have talking about anxiety and fit times dot emotion really after language learning.
Yes, they do. Emotion play a big role in whether a student feels comfortable speaking.
Is anxiety still a big problem when students speak in class?
Yes, especially during presentation or exams. Some students know the password but feel too nervous to speak.
That is why the classroom environment is very important. Students need to feel respected and supported.
So creating a positive classroom atmosphere can actually help me learning.
Exactly. When students feel safe, they participate more and learn more effectively.
Finally, let you start about assessment. If language learning takes time, how should teacher evaluate progress?
Many teachers use formative assess. This means they evaluate students continuously, not just with one final exam.
Portfolios are also useful. Students can hear their work and compare early assessment with like honest.
Some teachers also ask students to write reflection journals about their learning.
And that can help teachers understand what students need.
Exactly. Teachers can adjust their lessons based on students' progress.
So after discussion, interaction, confidence, motivation, materials, emotions, and assessments, what can we conclude?
Language learning is influenced by many different factors.
And because of that, progress is not always linear.
But when students receive support and practice regular, improvement happens over time.
In the end, learning a language depends not only on what is taught, but also on the environment where students learn.
To conclude, second language acquisition is not just a theory from textbooks, it is a process that happens through interaction, praise, and support. Thank you all for being part of this discussion. Thank you.